good evening and thank you for joining us. A fixture on daytime TV for more than 50 years, Bob Barker died this morning at the age of 99. Here's CTV's Heather Wright on the life and legacy of a game show legend.
Here is the star of The Price is Right, Bob Barker!
A television mainstay and once named the most popular game show host of all time.
You win!
Bob Barker spent 35 years hosting The Price is Right.
It would please me to be able to give you this prize.
Becoming a household name in the process, known as much for his white hair and tan skin as he was for his commitment to animal rights.
Help control the pet population, have your pets spayed or neutered.
Born in 1923, Barker grew up on the Rosebud Indian Reservation in Mission, South Dakota. He spent 2 years in the Navy at the end of the Second World War, marrying high school sweetheart Dorothy Jo Gideon while on leave. He worked in radio before landing the hosting gig of the game show Truth or Consequences, a job he held for 18 years. When he retired from The Price is Right in 2007, it was the longest-running game show in U.S. history.
I want to thank you very, very much for inviting me into your homes for the last 50 years.
Barker spent much of his retirement championing animal rights. In 2013, he donated $1 million to move 3 elephants from the Toronto Zoo to a sanctuary in California, personally lobbying City Council to approve the move.
They certainly don't belong in Canada. Canada is a wonderful place, but it's too cold for elephants.
While serious about animal rights, Barker had a sense of humor.
There is no way that you could have been as bad at hockey as you are at golf.
Famously beating up Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore,
Drew Carey!
and making a surprise return to The Price is Right in 2015.
People ask me often, what do I miss most about The Price is Right? And I answer honestly, it's the money. That I miss.
In a statement, Barker's longtime friend and caregiver wrote, "I am so proud of the trailblazing work Barker and I did together to expose the cruelty to animals in the entertainment industry, including working to improve the plight of abused and exploited animals in the United States and internationally." Bob Barker died Saturday morning at the age of 99.
There are more evacuation orders in the Northwest Territories as a raging wildfire threatens the community of Hay River. All remaining people in the community, including essential workers, have now been told to evacuate.
Whose fault is it when we can't get people out because we don't have basic infrastructure that every Canadian takes for granted? So I'm tired. I've been tired for a long time for asking for infrastructure, and now I'm angry.
Northwest Territories Premier Carolyn Cochrane was in Calgary touring an evacuation center. That's where she called on Ottawa to ensure the territory has better communications and roads to keep people safe. Cochrane did meet with the Prime Minister today. The Canadian Armed Forces have made its aircraft available for 2 evacuation flights from Hay River to Edmonton. The first will be used to evacuate residents, and the second for personnel not directly engaged in fighting the wildfire. Thunder Bay has seen a growing number of homeless people living outdoors this summer, though those concerns expand across Northern Ontario. The City of Sault Ste. Marie will have a report presented on Monday to its council on the issue of homeless people camping in parks. The report looks at ways to prevent city parkland from becoming encampments. CTV's Mike McDonald reports.
The city's legal team says the current bylaw already prohibits overnight camping in municipal parks.
Individuals essentially that would go and set up camp would be directed by city staff between the hours of 10 to 7 in the morning to pack up and disperse essentially.
And now, with the proposed amendment, citizens would not be allowed to set up camp at city parks at any time of day.
We just want to add clarity with this amendment that individuals aren't to utilize park space for camping at any given time. So that essentially is the purpose of the amendment. We felt that the existing bylaw that was created in the 1980s needed some updates to meet the realities of today.
In his report to council, King says the bylaw amendment is required to ensure parks are never used as encampments. Advocates for the homeless say this change will directly impact the city's most vulnerable.
Where's the resolution? That's what I'm looking for. Like, what are they going to do? You can't camp here, but where are you going to advise them to go.
Raynor Elliott says with limited shelter beds and a growing number of individuals and families unable to afford rent, pitching a tent is the only means of escaping the elements.
There's like a lot of people out there that are camping, and I'm telling you, it's not at Ojibwe Park and places in Bells Point. I mean, they're camping out in our cities for a reason, trust me. They don't want to be in those tents, but they have no other place to go.
As the bylaw stands, those who camp overnight at city parks can expect a fine. The amendment will be debated at Monday's City Council meeting. Mike McDonald, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Closer to home now, the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority invited residents from all over the region to celebrate one of its conservation areas today. Silver Harbour Day is a biennial event with the goal to bring more people out to explore and appreciate the area. This year's event also celebrated Shunya's 150th anniversary and Shunya Emergency Services 50th anniversary. A free barbecue was provided, and various organizations including Science North, the Thunder Bay Field Naturalists, and Thunder Country Diving were on site providing hands-on educational activities and demonstrations. LRCA Communications Manager Ryan Mackett says the event also marks the opening for Silver Harbour's new dive park entrance located on the other side of the parking lot.
We've now recognized scuba diving as an authorized use for Silver Harbour Conservation Area, and because of a generous few donations, we were able to do some work to the shoreline to allow safer access for divers to kind of avoid scuba divers from entering the water at the boat launch. And so there's a ton of divers out today that are making use of the dive park and taking advantage of the nice weather and the very clear visibility of the lake today, which is also quite awesome.
Mackett adds that there are 6 sunken wrecks in the area that divers are able to visit. There's just one night remaining for the weekly concerts in the Da Vinci Center parking lot. The Boreal Ultimate Music Society has been presenting live entertainment to local music lovers every Thursday night since late June. Jonathan Wilson has this story.
It's been a great year. We've had wonderful attendance all throughout the summer.
Scott Maximchuk is the president of the Boreal Ultimate Music Society. He and his group have been bringing live music to the Da Vinci Center parking lot all summer, and this past Thursday, the show included local folk music legend Rodney Brown and his band.
Up the trees, swaying to and fro.
Scott, what do people like about this event?
I think that they get a chance to see local musicians and local talent. Thursday night in a parking lot, nice, bring your lawn chair, start a weekend there on a Thursday night and feel like you have a long weekend all summer long.
The concerts, featuring mainly local singers and bands, began on June 22nd as a joint presentation by Maximchuk's group and the Da Vinci Center. A few of the shows had to be moved inside the Da Vinci when it rained, but otherwise the 10 Thursday night concerts have been held outside in the north parking lot, with good crowds every time and very big crowds for 2 of the shows.
Our 2 biggest draws this year were definitely 5 Alarm Funk out of Vancouver, over 1,200 at that show, and then Dale and James, we had over 800 at that show, so a couple of real fun nights we had there.
The last show of the summer, coming up this Thursday night, will feature the Cartwrights, followed by the headliner Urban Hip. Maximchuk says the success of this year's shows leaves him with no doubt that the concerts will be back again in the summer of 2024.
We definitely doubled our numbers, I think, from last year, making it more feasible and making it being able to make sure all the musicians get paid fairly, for sure. We look forward to continuing this on. I don't know how much bigger and better we can get. We might bring in a couple of more acts, but we really focus on the local entertainment. So it's all about bringing the awareness to the local musicians, letting Thunder Bay people know that we have fantastic musicians in this town.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
And finally, first-time students got an educational opportunity in school bus safety today for the 30th annual First Rider program. Families learned about the do's and don'ts of bus safety, and junior kindergarten students were able to ride the bus for the very first time. Jessica Clement reports.
Riding the school bus for the first time can be intimidating for children, and with school right around the corner, Student Transportation Services want to make sure first-time students and their parents are prepared for the big day.
We want to make sure that, if they have any apprehension or they have any questions, that we give them an opportunity outside that hectic first day to get on a bus and ask those questions.
The First Rider program starts with families watching a bus safety video, before heading to Confederation College to board and ride a bus for the first time. The students are taken on a 20-minute bus ride around campus, while an instructor reviews school bus safety tips and answers any questions they have.
And then when they return back here, they get off the bus and they receive a first rider certificate, as well as some other safety materials and some treats, and they're off to enjoy the rest of the day with their families.
This year's event saw just under 400 students come out, and Student Transportation Services Manager Craig Murphy says the program has become really popular in its 30 years of existence, adding that it's become a staple for new students in the community.
Thunder Bay was one of the first areas in the province to introduce such a program, so we're very proud of that. And we have been running this program every year for 30 years, and we have never stopped. We have people who have parents who have gone through the program themselves when they're younger, and we even have now starting to see some grandparents that went through, so it's become multi-generational.
It was an emotional time for families, and while there were many happy faces, some parents say it's a bittersweet moment.
I'm so proud of her. I didn't think she would do it, to be honest, so I'm really happy she got on. The start of a new chapter for sure. It's exciting.
It's bittersweet. It's so exciting that she's going to be starting school and she did so well, but, you know, it's going to be sad not to have her at home so much anymore, too.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Such a great story. We're now joined by sports anchor Joe Sadowski. Joe, we actually got a big fantasy football draft tonight. We still got a little bit before the regular season, though. We got some Vikings preseason.
Absolutely. I mean, the regular season, it's upon us. I can't wait to see it happen. And the fantasy football draft, with our whole office involved, can't wait to take you down week 1, baby.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll have the Vikings preseason and more coming up after the break.